Chapter 1. Betrayal and Misplaced Destiny. Liu Anmei was glowing with anticipation for her engagement party to Chen Jianyu, her longtime love and the heir to a prestigious family business. But what should have been the happiest moment of her life became the night that shattered it. Unbeknownst to her, her younger sister, Liu Meixiu, harbored a seething jealousy. Beautiful but vain, Meixiu couldn't stand living in Anmei's shadow. Anmei had everything she wanted: beauty, respect, and the love of the most eligible man in the city. On the eve of the engagement, Meixiu set her cruel plan in motion. Pretending to celebrate, she laced Anmei's wine with a sedative and led her, groggy and unresponsive, to a hotel room. Meixiu intended to humiliate Anmei by placing her in bed with a lecherous older man, ensuring that Jianyu would end the engagement. But fate intervened. Meixiu, in her haste, gave the wrong instructions to her accomplice, who placed an aphrodisiac-laced water bottle in the wrong room. Instead of being left with the intended mark, Anmei woke in the luxurious suite of Mo Zixuan, a reclusive yet powerful billionaire with a sharp mind and cold demeanor. Known for his striking good looks and ruthless business acumen, Zixuan was both feared and respected. When Anmei groggily awoke to find herself beside a stranger, horror overtook her. But Zixuan, who had pieced together what had happened, was unexpectedly kind. "This was not your doing," he told her, his deep voice steady. "I will take responsibility." Confused and heartbroken, Anmei reluctantly accepted his offer of marriage. Though her heart still ached for Jianyu, she realized she had no choice. Her reputation was in ruins, and she believed Zixuan's proposal was her only chance to salvage her future. Chapter 2. The Seeds of Revenge. As expected, Jianyu, feeling betrayed, called off the engagement and quickly turned his attention to Meixiu. Within months, he announced his engagement to her, fulfilling Meixiu's dream. However, when Meixiu learned that Anmei had married Zixuan, a man far wealthier and more powerful than Jianyu, her satisfaction turned to rage. How could Anmei still come out on top? Determined to destroy Anmei's newfound happiness, Meixiu began plotting once again. But what began as jealousy soon evolved into obsession. Watching Anmei with Zixuan awakened something twisted in Meixiu. She no longer just wanted to ruin Anmei, she wanted Zixuan for herself. Chapter 3. A Staged Affair. The first major strike came when Zixuan traveled to Hong Kong for an important business meeting. Knowing Anmei couldn't accompany him due to her charity work, Meixiu saw an opportunity. She arranged to stay in the same hotel as Zixuan, pretending it was a coincidence. After orchestrating a chance meeting at dinner, she slipped a sedative into his drink. With the help of a bribed hotel staff member, Meixiu entered his suite and staged herself in his bed. The next morning, Zixuan awoke to find her beside him. Though furious and suspicious, Meixiu pretended to be confused and ashamed, implying that something had happened between them. She even hired a paparazzo to photograph the scene, ensuring the pictures made their way to Anmei, accompanied by a malicious anonymous note. When Anmei received the photographs, her heart broke. But instead of acting rashly, she confronted Zixuan, who vehemently denied the allegations. Trusting her husband's word, Anmei quietly launched an investigation. With evidence gathered from the hotel staff and Zixuan's itinerary, the truth surfaced. Meixiu had drugged Zixuan and staged the entire incident. When Anmei exposed Meixiu's plot, Zixuan stood by her side, proud of her strength and unwavering trust. Though the scheme failed, Meixiu's obsession only deepened. Chapter 4. Poisoned Words at the Banquet. Months later, Meixiu attempted to drive a wedge between Anmei and Zixuan again, this time targeting Zixuan's conservative family. At a prestigious family banquet hosted by the Mo family, Meixiu whispered lies into the ears of Zixuan's influential aunt, claiming Anmei was embezzling money from Zixuan's business empire to fund her personal charity. To back her claims, Meixiu fabricated documents and created staged recordings of Anmei discussing fund transfers. The aunt, outraged, publicly confronted Anmei during the banquet, accusing her of dishonesty and betrayal. Meixiu, feigning concern, pretended to support both sides, positioning herself as a sympathetic confidant to Zixuan. Though embarrassed, Anmei remained composed. "I insist on an immediate investigation," she said firmly, trusting her innocence. Zixuan, skeptical of Meixiu's motives, ordered a thorough inquiry. When the fabricated evidence was exposed, Meisho's manipulations came to light once more. Zixuan's family, impressed by Anmei's grace under fire, fully embraced her as one of their own. Meisho, humiliated, retreated, but her resolve to claim Zixuan only strengthened. Chapter 5. The Illness Lie. Desperation drove Meisho to her most elaborate scheme yet. She hired a corrupt doctor to forge medical reports claiming she had a terminal heart condition. Pretending she had only months to live, Meisho tearfully begged Anmei for forgiveness, claiming her dying wish was to spend time with Zixuan, whom she had always secretly loved. Anmei, torn by guilt and pity, began distancing herself from Zixuan, believing Meisho's claims. Zixuan, however, grew suspicious. Knowing how far Meisho was willing to go, he quietly launched an investigation. His team uncovered the falsified medical reports, staged hospital visits, and bribes Meisho had paid to sell her lie. Zixuan confronted Meisho in front of Anmei, exposing her deception. "Your lies end here," he said coldly, his voice filled with disdain. "You'll never hurt Anmei again." This time, even Zhenyu, who had tolerated Meisho's schemes, abandoned her. With her reputation completely destroyed, Meisho was cast out from society. Chapter 6. Rising from the Shadows. With Meisho's manipulations finally behind them, Anmei and Zixuan flourished. Their bond, tested by countless trials, became unshakable. Together, they expanded their charitable work, focusing on helping women rise above adversity. Anmei, once a quiet and reserved woman, blossomed into a confident and respected leader. Through her strength, she proved that no matter how much others tried to bring her down, she would rise again, stronger each time. Epilogue. The final victory. Years later, Meisho, forgotten and destitute, lived in the shadows of her sister's triumph. Watching from afar, she saw the life Anmei had built, a life filled with love, respect, and purpose. As Anmei stood on the balcony of their villa one evening, Zixuan wrapped his arms around her. "Do you regret it?" he asked softly, his voice filled with tenderness. "Regret what?" Anmei replied, gazing at the stars. "Everything that brought us here." She smiled. "Not for a second. It was always meant to be." And with that, Anmei finally let go of the shadows of the past, embracing the future she and Zixuan had built together.